We have a very special guest joining us now, someone who ensured that this is the cover which actually has the US president interested in it. We have Raj Chengappa, Group Editorial Director, India Today, is joining us here. Raj, how are you looking at this post of Donald Trump? It's a huge acknowledgement of how widely the magazine is read as well.
Well, Maria, good to see it. We had decided to put both Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the cover of India Today as the newsmaker for 2025. They dominated the news as we knew it. And so I had the privilege of writing this particular cover story and researching it. And what we found was very interesting in terms of why we put them together. Clearly, Mr. Modi had made his mark in India. He was the mover in the sense that the entire Reform Express took off at this time. And of course, he faced tremendous political, economic, and international challenges. International challenges in the form of Donald Trump, who was main tormentor in some senses, going on a rampage with tariffs and putting 50% against India. For a person whom we thought was going to be great friends of ours, given the fact that they had great relationship on the first term. And here was he hammering us, and not only just on tariffs, but on immigration issues, H-1B, deporting illegal immigrants from the US. And of course, on Mr. Modi's side, he had to combat with Operation Sindoor, where again, if you notice, Donald Trump somewhat undermines the success of Operation Sindoor by claiming that he brokered peace between India and Pakistan. So the two banged at each other continuously when they thought they, in some senses, this would be a very smooth run for India. We were the first to get onto the trade deal and negotiate with them. But we still haven't got a trade deal. So as we stand in 2026, both of them are looking for legacy. That is what is very interesting to me. Both are above 70 years. Mr. Modi in his third term, Trump in his second term, both looking to see what they could leave behind. He's already made a tremendous amount of changes across the world, disrupted it globally. Mr. Modi has been steady, he's been resilient, and we've seen how he's guided India through these very troubled times and come out the winner, as we've seen in our recent MOTN polls, and the fact that he's won his third successive victory, which is a great credit to him. So the juxtaposition of this, very happy to see that the President of the United States has seen this cover and has actually tweeted it.
I can see Geeta Mohan joining us as well, and Rohit is joining us from New York City. Before I bring in others, another word from you, Raj, because this is the cover which has got the world leaders interested. So, starting with Donald Trump here, who has acknowledged it on his Truth Social. Raj, I'm looking at this article. Of course, you say that Mr. Modi is the mover because of Reform Express, as you pointed out. Also, Captain Cool, and he has a lot of political strength because of the electoral dividends, in terms of winning election one after the other. And he's also the warrior. The other one is, as you say, that he ensured he's the tariff terror, visa and immigration barriers that he created, diplomatic dissonance, as you put out as well, in terms of the broad headlines. So when we look at, the bigger messaging in terms of the road ahead, the two leaders got off really well. There was a lot of bonhomie on display. But then one would also say that Prime Minister Modi read White House, the second White House of Donald Trump, rather well. He understood that this man is unpredictable, so he started looking at other avenues or other markets, and that's why we have only recently inked what is being touted as the mother of all deals, something that is a deal of global good, as Prime Minister Modi has put it out as.
The fact is that despite the fact of the bonhomie and everything else, Trump has really been harsh on India, and I think he recognizes that. The first thing we need to do in 2026 is to get rid of this 25% tariff that he's imposed on India because we had imported Russian oil. The argument doesn't hold with us, given the fact that Europe bought a lot of the oil, China bought oil, but we were singled out for that kind of treatment. So I think India is expecting and saying, hey, we are supposed to be your friends, and you've done us in this manner. So I think we need to look first at that 25% tariff to get off our backs. And then, of course, to negotiate the trade deal. And as you rightly said, Maria, the fact that India signed up with EU and other countries, I mean, this is our ninth, if I'm not mistaken, eighth to ninth. Well, if you count the IPF, it becomes the ninth. But yes, definitely one of the things that we have done is diversified our holdings. Let's not forget, of course, that US is our largest trading partner. It will be good if we could reach a deal that will make 2026 the year that would really restore the relations. Let's not forget, during this particular period, Maria, unfortunately what has happened is that the Indian public has sort of lost the trust on the American presidency and the government. And that's something he needs to restore, because we've had this 20-year relationship that has been built virtually brick by brick after the big low during 1998 nuclear tests and the kind of sanctions they put on us. And suddenly to find that, the entire basis on which the India-US relation strategic partnership as natural allies and everything began to unravel during Donald Trump is something that will be very difficult to rebuild unless he makes the big moves. Whatever the sounds and signals that he's been making seems very positive. Okay. And I think that's a very good thing that we're hearing. But you never know with Donald Trump. One day he's up with you and then he's down. So it's like a foreign expert told me that, it's discovery and rediscovery of foreign relations every day. It's almost every hour by, you don't know what he's going to say at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I'm very happy that he tweeted India Today.
You're happy about
cover.
it?
Yes.
Let me bring in Geeta Mohan, who's joining us from Dubai. And that's where the World Government Summit is going to begin tomorrow. So Geeta is among the who's who of the world. Geeta, Ambassador Gore has put out that tweet and he says, stay tuned. So of course, there are a lot of details that will emerge. We are yet to get details from the Indian side. Perhaps some source-based information is likely to come in from our External Affairs Ministry, from our Prime Minister's office as well. Tell us about it. What exactly should we be preparing for ourselves for in the next 1 hour?
Well, one, there are going to be readouts that will be put out. The US side will be putting out a readout. So we are waiting for the details on the conversation. But Mara, this is engagement between New Delhi and Washington, D.C. at the highest level, whether it's leadership or, for that matter, Dr. Jaishankar being in the United States of America, like Pranay pointed out, for the critical minerals meeting. But also he's going to be in New York and later in D.C., which means he's going to meet various other leaders as well, and that certainly is going to be important. This engagement is important. The positive note was struck by none other than Ambassador Gore himself when in his inaugural, or whatever we were calling it the inaugural, but his first address after coming to India. The address was very clear. It was positive. It meant he means business. He's come with a mandate to bring the relationship back on track, and it seems like they're headed that way. Whether this is going to translate into a trade deal later is something we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot that's hanging in the balance, a lot that needs to be ironed out. So for now, one step at a time, leadership level talk, and then the post by Donald Trump, none other than the India Today cover.
Okay, so let's try and decode it, Geeta. We often say that we do not know how the evening would be. That is the time, perhaps, US wakes up, and that is the time when President Trump takes to Twitter or Truth Social. On one hand, you have a tweet which has been put out by Ambassador Gore saying that there has been talk, the highest level talk. Stay tuned. That's how he ends. And on the other, President Trump taking to Truth Social and putting out just the cover of the magazine, and that is India Today cover. How should the two, movements be seen, and how are they connected?
How are they connected? Positively. Very, very positively, because Ambassador Gore in his mission is looking at how to take this, or how to bring the relationship back on track. President Trump has put out that cover of Prime Minister Modi and himself of the January publication, and that certainly is a very telling statement. But there were two posts he did. One is of the India Today cover. The second is of India Gate, where he said that this is the India, the arch in India, and the American one would be much more beautiful and bigger than this. So there's competition even in this in this relationship that you're looking at. He is competing with India. He wants India to come to the terms and conditions that US is laying out when it comes to the trade deal, or how India engages the world, whether it's Russia, Iran, or for that matter, China. But India has played on her own terms. Prime Minister Modi's office is very clear that there's no bending down or giving up on
Okay.
national security issues. And that certainly is going to remain. So, a lot of niggling areas, a lot of concerns, even when they move forward on coming about with a trade deal, Maria. So, we'll keep our eyes on what's happening between DC and New Delhi. Every day, 5 p.m. is the time I almost wake up to what Trump is doing, 5 p.m. Because
Okay.
for me, the day starts from 5 p.m. onwards to 5 p.m. the next day.
Okay.
And it's always been
That's
busy
actually
since
very
Trump
well
has
put,
come.
Geeta. Rohit Sharma is joining us, in fact, from Washington, D.C. Rohit, two tweets which have been put out on Truth Social by President Trump. One, of course, is the cover of India Today magazine, this cover. And the other one, as Geeta was pointing out, is the India Gate. And he has said, India's beautiful, triumphal arc, ours will be the greatest of them all. So is this more of a triumph that is being indicated first? And I remember, having interviewed Commerce Minister just 48 hours ago, and I'd asked that specific question with regards to the trade talks with United States and how optimistic were they, and were they looking at some kind of a timeline, having, they were talking about the European Union Commission, European Union deal. He said that the deal will happen at the right time. Is this the clear indication that perhaps in the next 48 hours or a week that announcement is likely?
So a couple of things right here. I've talked to a few people in Washington, D.C., and I've got, I can't reveal a lot, but I've got a thumbs up to one of the message, and I've also got a fingers crossed to one of the message, and I obviously can't speak more than that. But looks like, we also have President's schedule out here. There's a 3:30 meeting. It says President is going to be signing something. We do not know what that is. Usually it's said, like if there's an executive order. So it says just signing. So we do not know that. EAM Jaishankar is in New York right now as we speak. He's supposed to be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. So is the ambassador of India. He is also in New York. And it is possible, from what I am picking up from my sources, that things are moving rapidly, and we could see something happen very soon. Now, we do not know if it's going to be a trade framework. We do not know if it's just removing those 25% additional tariffs that was put on India. But the signs from people inside the White House, I can tell you, is very positive. I've got emojis that indicate that things are progressing pretty rapidly, and I'll keep saying that pretty rapidly is what's happening right now. So I think, among everything that you've said, you talking to the minister in India, Sergio Gore, he has had multiple meetings with a lot of people in India. And as a matter of fact, he might be even, again, like obviously can't say that, but yes, there could be something that is happening and churning, and we probably could even get a timeline. If not a lot, we could get a timeline today as well.
Okay, so there is a possibility of a timeline with Ambassador Gore having said, stay tuned. Let me bring in Pranay Upadhyay. Pranay, I'm expecting some update from the PMO in the next 30 minutes. And that's likely to come, giving us enough indication of the nature of conversation. The first indication coming in from Ambassador Gore, but what has been communicated, we'll get some information, I think so.
Meanwhile, I also spoke to some of the officials, Maria, and we have been given to understand that the process is that, both sides match the notes, since all these important phone calls, the protocol, that how these phone calls are also recorded one, there is a transcript, there is a matching of it. So it takes time. And besides that, we would also like to see that what White House puts out, after this conversation. So we do not want to to prejudge or to jump the gun as far as this important conversation is concerned. But certainly, this clearly indicates if there is a forthcoming approach. Sergio Gore tweeted about it. President Donald Trump putting out this cover page of India Today magazine. There is clearly an indication that US want to take this relationship forward. There is a keen interest. Yesterday, there was a big delegation of business people. They are currently still in India, coming from Seattle, being represented by people from Boeing, people from Amazon, and people from Microsoft, many other companies. So clearly, in the business community, there is an interest to take forward the India-US strategic partnership. Even before going to United States, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar had a meeting with Sergio Gore on 29th of January. And if you see the social media timeline of US Ambassador to India, Sergio Gore, he has been meeting with very important leaders as well as the former diplomats, those who have served in Washington, D.C., be it Taranjit Sindhu, be it Harsh Shringla, and even Jaishankar, who's the External Affairs Minister, as well as he served as India's ambassador to United States. So those who have handled the India-US relationship, and after having meeting with External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar, Sergio Gore clearly said that we have discussed various issues, including defense, trade, technology, critical mineral, and many more things. So stay tuned. Even in that tweet, he said that stay tuned for more updates and more things which are coming up.
Okay, so stay tuned is the message that is coming in from Donald Trump and also Ambassador Gore. Really appreciate your time, Raj Chengappa, Geeta Mohan, and Pranay Upadhyay. Earlier this week, I had spoken to Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, who is leading the trade talk with the United States, and listen in to what he had to say.
अभी वैश्विक परिस्थितियां जो है उसमें एक अस्थिरता है. क्या वो जियोपॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी या फिर वॉलेटिलिटी कह लीजिए, अमेरिका के लगाए हुए 25% यानी कुल 50% जो टैरिफ्स है, इन सब का साया भी दिख रहा है, क्योंकि एक वैश्विक प्रतिस्पर्धा जो हम देख रहे हैं, जैसे रेयर अर्थ कॉरिडोर एक बनाना, क्या भारत को भी समझ में आ रहा है कि चाइना इस दम पर अमेरिका से सीधा टकराता है या फिर अपने शर्तों पर डील करता है? ये ऐसी आत्मनिर्भरता है जिस पर भारत, क्या अमेरिका के अतिरिक्त टैरिफ का साया भी इस बजट पर है?
सबसे पहले तो मैं बताऊं कि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका के साथ अच्छी बातचीत चल रही है, अच्छा प्रोग्रेस हो रहा है, और मैं नहीं समझता हूं कि कोई भी बजट एक देश के व्यापारिक संबंध के हिसाब से बनाया जाता है. लेकिन कोविड के समय से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात पर बल दिया है. और जब हम परमानेंट मैग्नेट्स या रेयर अर्थ्स की बात देखते हैं, जब हम देखते हैं कि टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर बहुत बल दिया गया है, जब हम देखते हैं कि स्किलिंग और रीस्किलिंग लोगों को आज की नई टेक्नोलॉजी के युग के परिप्रेक्ष्य में तैयार करना, तो ध्यान में आता है कि वैश्विक अस्थिरता और नई जो टेक्नोलॉजीज, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग जो आज सामने आ रही है, उसके लिए भारत के युवा युवतियों को, बहनों को तैयार करने का काम इस बजट में प्राथमिकता दी गई है. और वो बात आगे चल के हमको बहुत काम में आएगी. शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में बड़े बड़े प्रोग्राम्स तैयार किए गए हैं और एजुकेशन हब्स. अब आज आप बोस्टन जाइए, अमेरिका में बोस्टन की पूरी इकोनॉमी एजुकेशन के ऊपर चलती है. क्यों ना भारत में ऐसे 3-4 जगह एजुकेशन हब्स बने जहां पे बड़े पैमाने पे देश और विदेश के युवा युवतियों को हम अच्छी शिक्षा दें, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर की शिक्षा दें और तैयार करें आज की चुनौतियों का सामना करने के लिए. तो ये जो बजट है ये ट्रेडिशन को भी संभालता है. टेक्सटाइल्स, हमारे मछुआरे, हमारे पोल्ट्री, हमारे पशुपालक, उन सब की भी चिंता करता है, किसानों की भी चिंता करता है, और दूसरी तरफ मॉडर्निटी, न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज, भविष्य के लिए भी अपने आप देश को तैयार करें.